All right, how's it going? Coming to you from a super windy night here in Utah. Hopefully, you don't hear the wind blazing out of my window while I'm trying to do this review. But anyway, yeah, we're taking a look at 3DC printings. This is a seller on Etsy. You could find them at 3dcprintings.com. James actually reached out to me off of a Reddit post that I did on a review and said, "Hey, I got some stuff that I'd like for you to check out." And the cool thing about it was is I had already owned some of his pieces already. So I own this, I own this, and I own this that I'd already gotten from either community members or directly from his store. So I was excited at the opportunity to take a look at more of his stuff. So that's what this video is. So 3D Printings makes a number of different haptic magnetic fidget sliders, a lot of cool configurations. I would definitely say check out their Etsy store to see everything that they have, but these are just a few pieces that they have. And we'll start with these. Actually, we'll start with this. This is what I got first. So this is a fidget slider, and I believe it's, let's see, we got two slides up. So that's going to be a 3x2 configuration. And the cool thing that I like about the 3D printed stuff is that it's perfect for entry level. Like if you want to try out a fidget slider, but you don't want to drop, the crazy amount of money that some of the metal pieces command, then this is a really good start. This is where I've been pointing people who, when they see me with fidget slider, they're like, where do I get that? I'm like, well, why don't you try out a 3D printed piece and see if you actually like it before you go all the way in on a metal piece. So yeah, the 3D printed stuff, especially from this store, I've seen other, and I've used other 3D printed pieces that weren't as quality as these. I would say as far as 3D printed stuff, this is probably like top-notch quality for these types of pieces. So the best thing is when you've got someone who's new and they want to see one of your pieces, and you're like, you don't want them to like drop it, or you're worried that they might scuff it up or whatever. You can give them a try on one of these 3D printed pieces, and no worries, because these pieces don't really break the bank at all. So it's a really positive feature about these. The other thing that I really like about them is that you can still do all of the things that like I could do with a metal slider, I can do with this piece too. So you can do your ups and downs. You can ladder these. They're a little harder to ladder sometimes because there's not a lot of weight to them, but you can still like push it and ladder it or whatever. See, that one laddered pretty good. And then you still got your side clicks, your up clicks, and all that good stuff. And you still got the haptic noise and feedback too, which is cool. You can hear the magnets moving around too, which is interesting. You can kind of feel them and hear them shuffling around while you're playing with it. So that's this piece. This is I believe called their honeycomb piece. And then we'll move on to this pill-shaped piece, which is pretty cool. This one I've been playing with quite a bit at my desk because I kind of like this simple rotation that you can do. This is you just kind of slide it up and then rotate it in. I like that. It's really simple. But yeah, this one's cool. This is kind of more of like a more of a basic design. I do like how you can kind of separate them and they'll snap back to each other. Obviously, magnets are cool, or else I wouldn't be into all these things. But yeah, that's this piece. And then moving along, since I'm already on sliders, we'll talk about this one. I think this one's my favorite out of all of the pieces I have so far. This thing feels very, very close to a metal slider while not being metal. It's pretty hefty. I mean, it's hefty for 3D printed. I'm not going to say that it's like a heavy piece. Matter of fact, I wonder what it actually weighs on the scale. I imagine next to nothing, but let's see. Yeah, so it weighs about 16 grams, so pretty light, but for the material, it feels pretty substantial. It's pretty thick, as you can see, and it also glows in the dark. This piece glows in the dark. That material, if you put it in the dark, it'll glow. So this configuration is a 2x4 configuration, which is typically my favorite when it comes to sliders, because you can go 1, 2, 3, and then you're 1, 2, 3, and that snap is super satisfying. That's the same snap that I get with, you know, the expensive stuff too. So really good entry point with this piece. So like on the show in the previous piece, you can still do your side stuff and all the same things. This one's probably ladders a little bit better because it's got more weight to it. So I can ladder this one a little bit better than the last one as I shoot it off the off the camera there. But yeah, super cool piece. Love that snap, love that feedback, really cool. And then finally, put these to the side. You've got your little trays. These this one's called the lunch tray, I believe. And this one's cool. Like you kind of just, it's a real casual fidget. You know, you just kind of slide these around, move the buttons around. My favorite thing to do is to put that piece in the middle there, and then just kind of pop it up like that, and then drag that back, and just kind of repeat the process. I also kind of just like dragging these around too. Or another thing, if you want to just take this part out, you can just kind of, you know, move this piece around and just kind of, it's a good thing where you're thinking or whatever and you're not, you know, really focused on doing anything too extraordinary. And I also just realized, glad that I noticed before I finished the video, that I missed a piece that he sent me. And this piece is interesting because it has, I think, an extra row of magnets, yeah, on the side there. So this one will go 2 clicks out versus like 1. Typically, most sliders go out 1 like that, and you bring them back. This one goes out twice, so that's pretty interesting. And then you can ladder this one really well too. You can snap it down pretty well too. So yeah, I like that. I don't think I have any other pieces that have that double slide here like this one does, so pretty cool. So glad I didn't forget about that. But going back to this piece here to wrap things up, this is more of a simple kind of tray. You just got the one button there, and it slides up and down. And also he makes these pretty cool beads too that are made from 3D printed material as well. My only complaint, if I wanted to give some feedback to the to the designer James here, is that this button doesn't work the correct way on this piece. So it would be cool if the polarity was the same, so that I could run it in, you know, its attended position, which would be this piece down. But for some reason, the polarity is just different on these two pieces, so can't really use this button on that one or vice versa because of the polarity. But that would be my only kind of downside and my only suggestion for improvement. So overall, 3D printed pieces are cool. I'm not a snob that's like, oh, I only like the metal stuff. I like all of it, and I think these are great, especially for newbies and beginners and people who don't want to spend a serious amount of cash on some of the other stuff. So highly suggested. As I mentioned, you can find his shop at 3dprintings.com and also on Etsy. And his name's James Cooper. So James, thanks for sending this stuff out. I'm having a good time with them. We'll probably send maybe 1 or 2 of them to some friends that have never tried this stuff before, and definitely send anybody your way who's interested in them. All right, have a good one. Thanks.